Hey YouTube, I'm Robinats1 here, and I'm here to review Gotham Episode 4, Arkham. For me, this show is back on track. Um, this show definitely has been improving from, for me the show has definitely been improving from the last, um, the last couple of episodes. Um, in my opinion, it was a lot more interesting than episode 3. The plot was very interesting. Though there isn't as many subplots like there was in episode 3, I felt like the story to this episode was a lot more streamlined. The mayor announces that, the plans for the Arkham Asylum, and one vote will ensure that the plans for Arkham will be just a rubbish dump, whilst another vote will be housing development. And finally, a third vote, I think, will be the development of a new facility in Arkham. And basically, we actually see the gang war beginning. I know I kept on saying, oh, the gang war will begin, but the gang war actually had sort of started. We see a couple of fights break out between Maloney's men and Falcone's men, with Fish right in the middle of. And then finally we have Jim Gordon sort of trying to solve all of this. And he has a little subplot with Barbara. And finally, Bruce Wayne sort of continues his investigation into his parents' death. Yeah, this episode was really, really good. I just wanted to talk about Arkham first. Arkham was really, really good. Like, when I first saw Arkham, I was like, a comic book Arkham. And I was right in saying that Arkham is a seat of power for these gangs. However, I thought Arkham would have turned into a medical facility, and that's the bit that would actually become more of a seat of power. Because, obviously, in Batman Begins, Arkham Asylum was, utilized the criminal justice system and sort of tainted it. And Arkham turned into basically a tool for Ra's al Ghul. And I was sort of expecting something similar to happen with this Arkham. I kind of thought it was interesting that they sort of went into this different direction with Arkham. Barbara Gordon and Jim. Barbara finally reveals that she is a lesbian. Not lesbian, but she is bisexual. Honestly, I'm kind of glad that Jim Gordon and Barbara might not be together. I know it's not something that's realistically gonna last, but Barbara in this episode just proved to me that she doesn't understand Jim Gordon. She doesn't understand these facts. And whilst I agree with her the fact that Jim's never held out secrets before, I kind of question, well, Barbara, you knew what, Barbara, you know that, some bits are confidential. And, and he can't be expected to reveal information, particularly in the likes of Gotham. And she's lived in this city. This is what I don't understand. She's lived in this city. She has dated 2 cops. Surely to goodness she gets it. Penguin, once again, really, really good. By far my most favourite character in this show. And I just think they're developing the Penguin so well and so interesting that I'm curious as to whether is Penguin going to be, are they going to do like one season they develop Penguin, and then for another seasons they develop like Two-Face or someone, because they just do, they're doing such interesting stuff with Penguin. This might as well be the Penguin show, because it just, to me, it just has that vibe to it. And the actor who is playing the Penguin once again is doing such an interesting job at playing this villain. And I can sort of tell he's sort of having fun with it as well. Like, he just gets so much to do, and, and he by far has the most interesting story. Although the one complaint I will have is that they're trying to progress this character too fast. Like, Penguin's just gone from being a chef to a, to higher up in the branch. It's too fast, and it's only been like 3 episodes. It could maybe slow down just a chunk, just to sort of allow him to sort of develop at a reasonable pace. Otherwise, again, they are going to run out of story to tell. Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, once again, is a really, really good. He's still continuing to be an interesting character. But really, he doesn't get very much to do in this episode. I have a slight prediction, with the Wayne death. Based on what I read in Court of Owls, this has led me to develop a theory. Could the Court of Owls, I really want the Court of Owls to be mentioned or appear in an episode, or at least a couple of episodes this season. And I think you could work the angle of Arkham in the Court of Owls storyline into the Wayne death. Zack Snyder made an interesting did an interesting backup story where the Court of Owls killed Jarvis Pennyworth. You could have it that maybe Jarvis Pennyworth had actually been a butler, and that Jarvis was killed by a Court of Owls because the Waynes were wanted Arkham to be rebuilt. And there's sort of like, I can't remember what it was, but sort of the Waynes in that Night of Owls storyline try to create something that the Court of Owls didn't want. And I'm thinking, because Bruce Wayne is sort of trying to find all this stuff, could Bruce Wayne sort of find the Court of Owls? Just something I really want to happen in this show. I think it's a perfect place to put the Court of Owls, as a story. So, anyway, I'm Robinats1 here. I hope you have enjoyed my review for Gotham. Stay tuned for more Gotham reviews. Bye.